it's all about that perspective. And when you have that perspective and you understand that different people have different perspectives of challenges, then it allows you to be more compassionate for their viewpoint on life. Hey, what is up, guys? It is another day. Just on my way to drop some parcels off. Had a really good day today. I think there's about 3 packages that we're gonna send off, which is really cool. They just came out of nowhere, which is awesome. And this is like some of the inventory they picked up from DJs a long time ago when they were doing their closing down sale, and they were selling like branded items with the tags still on them, so brand new with tags, still for about $1 a piece. They had like a $1 rack, and then it was just like stacks of them. So we still have, I think that day we bought like 80 items, and now we've just been like slowly like selling them off, just every now and again. Obviously the volume is not as the volume is not as fast, but it's okay. I mean, like in terms of making we're talking about like after fees and packaging and shipping and stuff like that, you're looking at like a 30, 40, 50x profit. So anything for $1 that sells for $65, you know, I think you can lose out on that and do as many of those as you want day in, day out. So that's what we're doing today. A couple things. I've been getting really heavy into cryptocurrency and the crypto market a lot lately. Been delving a lot into just the macro. I mean, this actually all stemmed from the macroeconomic outlook that I've been looking through. I mean, the whole thing with the whole thing with, you know, cracking down on privacy and you know, the overinflating of the fiat currency, and how every single country right now is doing the same. You know, the structural economic issues that are going to be as a result of the virus and the pandemic, you know, with all the businesses shutting down, you know, the mortgage stress, all this kind of stuff. So a lot of that actually got me looking into different ways on storing value and different assets, and cryptocurrency actually is proving to be, or is showing itself to be, one of those avenues. Now obviously it's still a very speculative industry, but if you really look into it, when people think of cryptocurrency, they think of Bitcoin, and then they think of gambling and dodgy stuff. Like, it's actually not that. Like, the crazy thing is that Bitcoin is only the very first use case of what's called blockchain technology. And the blockchain technology is actually what's more important, because in terms of utility and its ability to decentralize so many different things and so many different circumstances and so many different use cases, I mean, it's just crazy the amount of value that blockchain technology can bring to the world as humanity. And it can really start to reintroduce this idea of a genuine free market situation where, you know, you really can have free trade, and you really can have free price discovery, and you really can have personal responsibility, you know. And personal responsibility is a two-edged sword, because, you know, on one side, you're 100% responsible for all the mistakes that you do, so we have to take responsibility for that. And some people might not think that that's a good thing, but at the same time, you're also 100% responsibility for all the good things that you do. So it's going to bring the playing field back down to natural order, which is, you know, everything in the world is based on merit. You know, like, if a project is good, if someone is actually genuinely good at what they do, and if the project, you know, has real value that people really like, there's real demand there, then that is going to get popularity. And things that don't have demand, that also is not going to be as successful. You know, alternatively, on the other side, you know, the projects that people try to, you know, sell you that are dodgy, or they pose themselves as, you know, these dodgy things. At the same time, like, there's also, you have to do your own due diligence in that. You know, it's up to the individual as a investor, as an individual who's really putting their money somewhere, like they have to really genuinely be responsible for what they do with their money and how they invest their money. Like that is how it's supposed to be. You know, if you run the risk of not doing your due diligence, not checking up on all the facts, not looking at all the things, then yeah, I mean, you know, you bet on this thing that's obviously a scam, then maybe that's what's supposed to happen, you know? And there's a lesson in that, you know, and the lesson that you can learn from that is, okay, maybe I need to think about this more. Maybe I need to check more boxes. Maybe I need to add more to my due diligence list, you know? It just allows you to grow as an individual if you take 100% responsibility for your downfalls, you take 100% responsibility for your mistakes, you take 100% responsibility for all the good and the bad, the wins and the losses. And that's the key, and that's what we're missing today. You know, we're missing that in today's society. We're missing that in our generation, right? So many people want to point the finger. So many people want to blame external circumstances. And I know sometimes external circumstances can be negative. I know sometimes things are not fair. And I know sometimes it is, you know, like, you know, it's not fair that you didn't grow up in one place as opposed to another person, and you don't have the same opportunities. But one could argue, or one could say that every single person in every single situation actually has pros and cons. You know, a lot of people look at people who have a lot of money and they say, hey, look, well, that person has obviously a lot more opportunity than us because, you know, we didn't come from that circle. And yeah, that may be true, but at the same time, they also deal with a different set of challenges. You know, they deal with a different set of personal issues. They deal with a different set of, you know, like, you know, mental and health issues, right? Because of their money, because of their status, because of what they were born into. Like, a lot of people don't realize that. Like it's a lot harder to build, to have the credit of you making it yourself if you were born into a very wealthy family. Think about that. Like, you know, really think about that thing. If you were already born into a successful lineage, for example, you know, there's this benchmark of expectation. The expectation is already set for you, right? Whereas someone who comes from nothing, it's a lot easier for them to move and make mistakes and get ahead and take ownership over their wins. I mean, they can take ownership over their wins because, like, whoa, I came from this and now I created this. And it's like, you know, obviously the path from here to here is very obvious. But someone who's already successful, or who's born into a very successful line, the benchmark has already been set so high for them that if they don't push past that, or if they don't, you know, do even more, or even if they do succeed to a huge level of success in any normal person's eyes, they will always be walking around with other people pointing to them and say, hey, look, the only reason why you did that, the only reason why you were successful is because of this, and this, and this, and this. Because you were born into this family, because you had the money, because you had the connections already. And yeah, that may be somewhat true, but that person can never really take credit for their own success, you know, and that's really hard. Like, if you really think about that, think about your own life. Like, would you want to work really, really hard at something? And say, for example, you genuinely really, really worked hard at a project. You know, you engrossed yourself, you got obsessed with it, and you really knuckled down into it, right? And you spent 5, 10, 15 years, like 30, 40, 50, 60, 80 hours a week working on that project, and it became successful. And the people outside of that say, well, that's not a success because you had this, because you had that, because you had, you know, like it's and I'm not saying that all of those people are like that. I'm just saying it's a lot challenging for, if you were in that person's shoes, maybe you would have a different set of challenges. You know, that person is dealing with a different set of challenges because they come from a different thing. So we're not here to judge whose problems or whose issues or whose challenges are worse off than others. Obviously, some challenges are very, very, very extreme, and some people come from very extreme circumstances, but for the majority of people, like, it's hard to judge. I mean, like, you know, and when we can step back from the judgment of saying that one person's challenges is obviously worse off than another person, well, it's hard to say that because it affects that individual differently, because that individual has a different set of like filters. They're perceiving the world differently. They have a different experience. They have a different set of, you know, thought processes. And you know, some of the things that we may think that these challenges are very like easy to deal with, well, someone else might say that that's really hard. I mean, and we see this a lot. So it's all about that perspective. And when you have that perspective and you understand that different people have different perspectives of challenges, then it allows you to be more compassionate for their viewpoint on life, where they're at, and, you know, what they're going through. But again, there's no excuse for making excuses, okay? So despite that, it's okay to be upset with some of the things that are going on in life. It's okay to be upset with the challenges that you have, but to dwell in that, to foster that, to continue to grow that and delve into that even deeper, and justify why you cannot make any changes because of these excuses is the issue, right? Because that's not going to help anybody. It's not going to help yourself, and it's not going to help the people that are going to try and help you, because they're only creating a level of lack of personal responsibility for your situation, thus taking away your ability to change that with your own power. Very, very, very interesting thought process. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you like this content, please subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up, or leave a comment down below and let me know what you think or what one of your biggest takeaways was from the content. If you want to see more, check out this link here, or check out the links below. And I'll see you guys next time on the next video. Bye for now.